Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Franny Kendall, and I am a health and physical education specialist for the district. We also have Charlie Getz, who is joining us, who is one of the other health and physical education specialists for the district. We will be here to answer any questions that you may have. Please feel free to use the chat if you have any questions, and Charlie and I will man the chat. But we also have a very special guest from Tobacco Free Jacksonville, and that is Constance Desmore. She is the Community Engagement Manager who is going to be walking us through the vaping epidemic. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and I'm going to turn this over to Constance. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Thank you so much, Franny, and I'm super excited to be here tonight with you all. Next slide, please. So as Franny mentioned, I am Constance Desmore. I'm the Community Engagement Manager with Tobacco Free Jacksonville, and we basically promote tobacco-free cessation efforts around Duval County. So we believe and envision a Duval County where all residents have a fair chance at a healthy future free of nicotine addiction. Our mission is to mobilize community partners to establish long-lasting systems and policy changes that promote tobacco-free social norms, to prevent usage of tobacco products by youth and young adults, eliminates the hazard of secondhand smoke, and decreases the number of deaths due to tobacco products. So we're going to dive into Vaping Devices 101. So as many of you have seen on the commercials, social media, the new cigarette is to reinvent into vapes. So you specifically have pod-based systems such as Juul, Smoke, Fix, and Joy. They have grown in popularity over the years, but many users may wrongly believe that these are harmful devices. So the pod-based system is made up of two components and they're attached similar to Lego pieces. The part on the left is the power source and it contains the battery that has to be charged through a USB port. The smaller piece to the right is the pod or the cartridge. The cartridge from Juul is reported to provide up to 200 puffs and comes in a variety of different flavored e-juices, all with alarming amounts of nicotine. These flavors and cartridges colors are concerning since they attract young people and young adults. Each Juul pod is packed with 41.3 milligrams of nicotine, which is equal to the amount of nicotine the body can take in from smoking 1.5 to 2 packs of cigarettes. The fixed pod is almost twice that amount at 75 milligrams. A pod holds its e-juice on the outer shell, but when it's plugged in, the battery piece and the e-juice is heated to produce an aerosol, which is invasive to the lungs. So these are few of the products that are out on the market, which are specifically targeted to young adults and youth. So the Juul and other lookalike products have become popular around 2016 and 17, and they kind of evolved with the times. But these devices are also used for illicit drug use. So lots of time, marijuana concentrate, also known as wax, it contains an extraordinarily high level of THC, ranging from 40 to 80%. That has also been known to be used in the e-cigarettes as well. Now we're going to watch a short clip. So Big Tobacco and Big Vape, they have become more creative with product presentations and the fact that it helps students and young adults disguise products from parents and adults. So typical items such as pens, USB drives, whiteout dispensers are all normal items that we find in a student's backpack, but they also could be disguised as vaping devices.
Vaping, in fact, many of the e-cigarettes are concealed, hiding in plain sight.
Chris Costa shows us some devices in disguise.
Vaping devices are looking more and more like everyday items. All kinds of things like backpacks, even sweatshirts allow people to hide their vaping devices and use them without being noticed. So we put parents to the test. Can they identify what's a vape and what's not?
They literally created it to look like everyday products so that it's inconspicuous.
One glance around your kid's room and you might completely miss it. A vaping device
Put your list right here.
hidden in plain sight.
It's really, really kind of difficult to tell the difference, especially when you hold it in the palm of your hand.
Devices made to look like whiteout dispensers, USB drives, and even pens.
Whatever vaping device, if you keep making it look cool, kids are going to keep using it because they get addicted quick.
Lauren Ibekwe works for the Fort Bend Council Prevention Coalition. Her job is to teach kids about the health concerns around vaping and help parents stay in the know.
A lot of people are behind the curve. They want to know, and they're actively trying.
I'm a concerned parent, and I want to know what's out there.
So this is the backpack. We put parents to the test. So we've got 6 items in this backpack that are vapes, and they're mixed in with other regular school supplies. Can they tell the difference?
Maybe on the side?
Stephanie Adams works with at-risk students and has 2 kids of her own.
I mean, this does look. I don't smoke, so I don't know. But this looks like it could be used for a vaping device.
There's no time pressure.
Okay, down to be one of these.
Okay.
All right.
So that's 6.
Yeah.
This one, Stephanie found 3 out of 6, and that one overlooking 3 others. And you would inhale it like that. And you can charge it through there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. You didn't have any idea.
I didn't have any idea.
But like many parents, she missed one of the hardest to spot. You said they could be in a watch, right?
Oh yeah, they could be in a watch.
You mean like this one?
No way.
Like push that button, release it,
Ah.
and that's a vape. Right there, that's where you put your mouth.
Okay.
So you knew about this one.
I did.
And this one looks like a regular watch, doesn't it?
Right. It bothers me because I have kids and it's scary and I don't want them to try these things because I don't, of course, no parent wants their kids to get hurt or harm themselves, and having all these things accessible to them is scary because they can make those decisions with their friends or outside of it, and parents might never know.
What's the threat of it?
The threat of it is that it's cool enough, it's enticing enough for an adult and a child. So that doesn't incentivize, for people to take it off the market. A lot of people don't know what to do. And that's why we recommend that, like, not just knowing how to identify these products, but actually talking to your young people before they even start.
And more kids are starting. In the latest study of 19,000 kids, found 30% of high schoolers vape and 10% of middle schoolers do too. In Houston, Chris Costa, KHOU 11 News.
So we wanted to know if you could spot the vaping devices hidden in plain sight. So we put up a quiz on khou.com. Here they are. Pretty hard to tell the difference with some of them, right? Get this. You guys guessed about 7 out of 10, but the others fooled you. If you haven't taken it yet, you can find it on our homepage.
And although it may be difficult to pinpoint if your child is vaping, here are a few signs that may help you figure it out or may help you investigate more. So unusual items. Some vaping devices resemble common items such as USB drives and pens like we saw on the video. So they might not be as easy to spot, but they usually have holes on each end. They can also look like more traditional devices. So keep an eye out on refillable pods and cartridges, which some vaping devices use, and also batteries that require recharging, organic cotton balls, and thin metal coils. Those are typically components that are used in vaping devices. Sweet smells. Although a lot of the e-juices are odorless and scented, the use of flavored e-juices are more popular with youth because they're sweeter. So you may notice an unusual sweet smell that may vanish quickly as well. So any changes in thirst or taste. The process of vaping makes users' mouth dry. So if you see your kid drinking more than usual or excessively, that may be a sign that they're vaping. A dry mouth also makes food and taste less flavorful. So if your child is using more salt or more spices on their foods, that may be something to look at as well. Nosebleeds. So not only does the mouth get dry when vaping, but so does the inside of the nose. As the vapor is exhaled through the nostrils, this may result in heavy nosebleeds. The less need for caffeine. Vaping causes some people to be more sensitive to caffeine. So if your teen is skipping out on their daily caffeine fix, sodas, or anything of that nature, it may be time to look into other signs as well. An unexplained cough, throat clearing, or nose sores. Research, research has linked vaping to mouth wounds that won't heal or a smoker's like cough. So some of the health consequences that we have found associated with e-cigarette use. Next slide. Oh, there you go. So the first case was reported in June of 2019, and as of February 2020, over 2,800 cases of e-cigarette or vaping related injuries, which is also known as EVALI, have been reported to the CDC. More than 60 deaths have been confirmed in the state so far, and about 15% of patients were under the age of 18 years old. There were over 8,000 liquid nicotine exposures among young children under the age of 6, reported to the U.S. Poison Control Centers. And most of the children, about 92%, were exposed through ingestion. So COVID-19 and vaping. Vaping can interfere with the respiratory immune system and it damages the lungs, which decreases the immunity response to the respiratory virus and bacteria. So we don't have enough data for the long-term health impact of vaping, but several studies have already proven that vaping can cause lung cancer, damage to the DNA, and prominent lung injury in youth. So you're probably thinking, how does the retail point of sale or how does it impact youth tobacco initiation? So annually, Big Tobacco spends at least 7.6 billion with a B dollars on marketing and advertising specifically to youth. So most people began smoking during childhood or teen years. And Big Tobacco has found that the younger that you are when you start smoking, the greater the chance it'll be for you to become addicted and the harder it will be for you to quit. So this is a map of Duval County. Each red dot is a tobacco retailer. The shaded areas represent income. The dark blue indicates the highest average income, which is roughly about 77,000. And the light yellow indicates the lower average income, which is about 26,000. As you can see, there are more red dots in the light areas than there are in the blue areas. Big Tobacco uses this technique to target vulnerable populations. Youth addicted to nicotine are 5 to 7 times more likely to develop a drug disorder. Several studies have shown that nicotine in any capacity is a use for gateway drug illicit is a gateway drug to illicit drug and alcohol use. So what are we doing about it locally and on a state level?
I do want to interject and say that the source of this is the Florida Youth Survey, which is a survey that we do and we participate in Duval County, actually. So select middle schoolers and high schoolers will participate in this survey, and it is actually going on right now in our schools. Our office is the group that houses it and oversees it.
So on December 20th, 2019, the president signed legislation amending the FDA to raise the federal minimum age of sale of tobacco products from 18 to 21. The legislation, also known as Tobacco 21 or T21, became effective immediately, and it is now illegal for any retailer to sell any tobacco product, including cigarettes, cigars, and e-cigarettes, to anyone under the age of 21. The new federal minimum age of sale applies to all retail establishments and persons with no exception. On October 1st, 2021, the state of Florida implemented a new statewide law raising the minimum age from 18 to 21 as well. And it brings the Florida state law in line with the federal existing laws. It is also an important step for public health because research has shown that raising the legal age to buy tobacco and nicotine can reduce the number of youth and young adults who start smoking, showing immediate health benefits and decreasing the eventual numbers of smoke-related deaths. The new state law includes an exemption for military personnel who are on active duty and at least 18 years of age. Under the Florida law, if anyone under the age of 21 is caught with tobacco or nicotine devices, they may face a penalty of either 16 hours of community service or a $25 fine. They must also go to a school-approved anti-tobacco program if one is available locally. If they are cited again within 12 weeks, they will be subjected to another $25 fine. Failure to complete the community service or to address the fines can result in suspension of their driver's license. So Tobacco-Free Jacksonville, our efforts will continue to focus on retail point of sale through environment where tobacco and vaping companies focus their marketing efforts to attract youth. Since the authority to regulate how tobacco products are marketed and sold is preempted by the state, this work is going to be a little bit more challenging for us. However, we are determined to get creative and to explore new strategies with guidance from the state and their input from parents and community members like yourself. There are many questions or ideas that this work will involve, and we're excited to have those conversations. Our approach as Tobacco-Free Jacksonville includes educating local officials on the need for local control, continue monitoring the retail environment of emerging products and federal compliance, retail education and incentive programs, youth advocacy and engagement to increase community awareness. And finally, we are exploring the possibility of zoning regulations and content neutral advertising to further decrease youth access and initiation of tobacco products. So here's our call to action. How can parents and community members get involved? You can join our Tobacco-Free Coalition. We are comprised of over 80 organizations who speak and advocate for tobacco cessation in Duval County. Promote our advocacy club for youth, which is SWAT, Students Working Against Tobacco. We have 2 clubs locally in Duval County at First Coast High School and also at Lighthouse Christian. We are working on a community club, which could bring students from all over Duval County to join this particular club. And you can also help us engage in the community throughout events and presentations like today.
Thank you, Constance. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box. I know it might take a second, so we will let you look at our lovely faces while we wait a second just to see if anyone has any questions. If you don't have any right now, but you think of one a little bit later and you would like to reach out, you're welcome to email the Health and Physical Education Department, and I put that email in the chat. It is HEPs for Health Education, Physical Education at duvalschools.org. So HEP at duvalschools.org. And if we have any questions that need to be sent on to Constance, we will be happy to do that as well. Thank you guys. We appreciate you.